Our question for today, for Frequently Asked Questions Friday, is what does it mean if my account says TOD or POD? So TOD and POD are ways of putting beneficiaries on an account that you have. Most commonly, we see these with bank accounts or with investment accounts. TOD stands for transfer on death, and POD stands for payable on death. It just depends on what institution you're using, which terminology they use. Both of these ways and terminologies are used to ensure that the beneficiary that you name receives the account proceeds when you pass away. So rather than that account going through the probate process, it will transfer to the person that you've selected as your beneficiary. This can be either a good thing or a bad thing depending on the circumstances. So it's a good thing to use these designations when you know exactly what you're trying to do with them, meaning you definitely want to benefit the person who's listed as the beneficiary on your account. In addition to that, it can be a good use of these designations if you're naming a trust as the beneficiary. Reason being, particularly with irrevocable trust planning, you may want the account to remain in your name for ownership and control purposes, but want it to pass into your trust and be distributed based on the terms of the trust when you pass away. For clients who do revocable trust planning, the alternative would be to just retitle your account into the name of the revocable trust. And this ensures that it passes to the people who are listed as your beneficiaries there. So really, the reason that you would do TOD or POD to a trust is to make sure that you retain 100% control of the asset during your life, but then make sure that it passes using the distribution scheme that's written in your trust. It's not such a great idea to use these designations when it's done haphazardly or it doesn't match your estate plan. So one common pitfall that we see with these designations is sometimes people will use these in a way that's not consistent with what they have written in their will, or that's not consistent with what the provisions of their trust are. And they don't realize that this is something that will alter that. Joint accounts are another offender on this. People put their children's names on their accounts just to be able to pay the bills. And then what ends up happening is maybe just one child gets that account when they pass away, and that wasn't the intent of the account owner. So we have to be careful when we use these designations. And also realize there's limitations with them. So other limitations with these designations are you have to consider what might happen if the person you've named as a beneficiary passes away before you do. At that point, then it may become a probate asset, which was not what your intent was to begin with. Again, using trusts as beneficiaries in this manner is an effective way to combat that. And also retitling assets to the trust, which is the preferred method when you have a trust and really want ownership to be changed, is another way to combat this. If you've got questions, we would love to hear from you. Please leave us a message on Facebook, send us an email, or even just reply to the YouTube video. We would love to hear from you. Thanks.